What's going on, Tim?
Dude, loving the life, man. Watching the marketplace and just saying, what up? Interest rates, right?
So we need to talk about what's going on in real estate, man. There's a lot going on. I'm gonna say that there's some good, some bad, some ugly. Um, and in my world, it's mostly bad.
Is it bad because real estate rates are going up? Is it bad because house prices are starting to cap off? Did you notice that, man? They're starting to
No,
level
it's
off,
bad
man.
because buyers can't buy houses and rates keep going up. Like it's bad for buyers, good for sellers, but sellers are buyers. So I was watching. I'm trying to get our podcast game up, Tim, and I started watching some of the bigger podcasters, and I noticed that uh, the big podcasters, except for like Joe Rogan,
Yeah.
it's like a thing now. You wear sunglasses on your podcast.
Dude, I got them, man. I'm there, man. Somebody going to be wearing sunglasses?
You
I
know what I
like
mean?
that, actually. Ugh.
Do you think we're gonna get more views now?
Yeah, I think so, man. I feel much better now. What the hell?
All right.
I'm feeling good, brother. Is that because the future's so bright I got to wear shades? What the hell, man? Or is all this shit on fire? I'm
Yeah,
just
because
saying.
interest rates keep going up, and
Yeah.
I don't want to look at them. So I'm trying to cover my view. I just look at them through tinted glasses, so I can't really read
There
it.
you go, man. It's the way
I
to
got
roll,
these. You can
brother.
see it too.
So, Brian, let's talk about the marketplace, man. Let's
Is
talk
that
about what the
cool?
hell's going on, man. There you
All
know.
right,
Now you're wearing
what's
them.
going
Yes,
on?
sir. Dude, loving the life, man.
Now,
Loving
now
it.
I can't see anything.
It's all relevant anyway.
All right, so
Yeah.
Tim, let's talk about the market real quick. I'm gonna share my screen,
Okay. What you got?
and we're gonna comment on what's popping.
Phew.
We'll start with this guy. Um, can you see that?
Yeah, man.
Closed sales down 17.4% in Southern Maryland year over year, which was, I mean, if I was to do like a 4-year chart or a
Yeah.
3-year chart, it's probably down like 60%.
It is substantially more. Yeah, it is pretty wild. I've actually got the whole entire state. State is down 13.9 for the month of March. 13.9, man.
Yeah, Southern Maryland in particular down 17.4.
Yeah. What the hell? I mean, even looking at you look at Calvert County. Calvert County was down 8.3. That wasn't bad. Charles County down 19.3. There's your kicker right there, man. A little St. Mary's only down 32.1. That's not bad. St. Mary's down a third. Sales year over year. I like that actually, man. What's happened
If
to values?
if we were to do like a 3-year chart, it would be worse.
It would be substantially worse. Yeah, last time I checked, we're down to 30% of the top of the market 2020. We're at 30% of volume today. It's wild, man. It's a wild ride.
Say that again slowly, Tim. Say that again. Explain what you just said.
If you compare our sales that occurred in the year 2022 today, we're down about 70%. We've got 30% of sales. You know what I'm talking about? That's intense, man. That really is, brother.
Yeah,
Oh,
30% of sales means, like you say it the other way, it's down 70%.
Yeah, it's a little hard to drink the Kool-Aid right now. There's no question about it, but it's going to change, Brian. It always does,
We're
right?
on the
It's
struggle
temporary.
bus, Tim. So
We are. Yes, sir.
is it? So the thing that everybody keeps hoping for,
Mhm.
and the thing that's in the news and we've been talking about, is rates are finally coming down. How's that going?
Not so much, Brian. Actually, we took the reverse opposite last week. Rates
You need to
actually came down and
You
they
gotta put like 2 of
bounced.
these
and-
on the same time.
Yeah, brother. They went the other way, man. It was kind of crazy. It really was. Yeah, the rates went up because inflation came up.
They're going
And
up,
what's-
Tim.
Yeah, I know. And you look at the price of gasoline and you go to the grocery store and now you go to McDonald's and they have that like $25 bag special. You saw that, right? $25 meals. I like that action, man. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so if inflation only goes up 2%,
Yeah.
then things only cost 2% more than they did last year. They're not going down. We're not having reverse inflation. Nothing is going down.
Right? It's not deflation, right? That's what it's called. Yeah, we're still in an
deflation
inflationary
sounds
market.
negative. It sounds bad.
Deflation
I can't even
is
say
bad.
that.
That deflation is, because in deflationary period, things are losing value. Things are losing value. Even investments lose value, Brian. So that's kind of the negative.
But hey,
piece,
man,
right?
you know what? That also might represent the dollar getting stronger. How about that?
And the price of gold.
Well, the dollar can buy more in this situation. So we're seeing some negative stuff. The next thing I wanted to look at was everybody keeps touting this exciting news that real estate agents are no longer getting 6%. Can you explain what this means right here? And I'm going to share my screen again.
Sure, that's no problem.
Dun, 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 dun,
I'm
dun.
gonna have to take these shades off though when I see this real estate commission piece, Brian. I'm just saying. Here, ready?
All right. All right.
There you go.
Explain
better,
what this
man.
means.
GSAs will not count buyer agent commissions in cap. So what it means in a nutshell is that on an FHA loan or a VA loan or a Fannie or Freddie. Now, right now it's just Fannie and Freddie and FHA have said this. We think VA is going to follow suit shortly, but they're like, whenever there is a restriction to how much a seller can assist in seller help called seller concessions. For example, you buy a house with an FHA loan, you're limited to 6%. Well, what they're trying to say is that real estate commission, if you've got to ask the seller to pay that on top of the real estate closing help, it can't exceed more than 6. Well, they're saying, no, FHA, we're cool. Fannie, Freddie Mac, we're cool. It's no big deal. We're not going to count that as part of that seller concession. And we think VA is going to follow suit shortly, to be honest with you.
All right. So that's good news then.
That's very good news. What's the tough news? Average real estate commissions are actually starting to go down.
What about this guy, Tim? What about this guy?
It's simple. So what
New York Times article.
Yeah, when you write a loan, the VA prohibits the buyer from paying real estate commissions. So when you write your contract, you do a separate addendum that says the seller agrees to pay the buying agent, a 2% real estate commission or whatever the necessary case is. Yes.
But the buyer cannot pay the real estate agent at all, ever.
The buyer can't, but the seller can. So it's just how you write.
But if the seller doesn't agree to, but if the seller says, I'm not paying any buyer's agent commission, and the VA buyer comes to the table and they're like, hey, I need to buy this house. I have this real estate agent.
Yes.
And everybody else is having to pay the real estate agent, perhaps. And they're like, well, you can't buy this house.
Or you can buy the house, but you have to deal directly with the listing agent. I mean, that's possible, Brian. I mean, that happens, right? Or that's one way to resolve the issue. Or how
is that going to work out for veterans?
I honestly don't think it's going to be as beneficial because they don't have representation, right? So what it comes down to, if they don't have representation, it makes it very difficult for a veteran to get a good deal. Yeah. But there's a workaround, and the workaround is just how you write your contract and the addendum you put in there.
If the seller agrees to it, and in the event that the house appraises for enough to cover this gap.
Correct. But what happens if the seller doesn't agree to it? We either reduce the price, right? And that applies to all loan types.
I just wrote, but I just wrote 5 offers in the past 2 weeks. In 3 of those situations, there were 8 or more offers. So in that event, what are the chances that the seller's going to be like, okay, this highest offer, we're going to also then agree to pay this real estate agent? It's just convoluted, and it is going to make buying a home even harder, especially if you're a veteran. Here in Southern Maryland, it's over 10% of the buyers here are veterans and using VA loans. So I want to say it's probably closer to 20%.
So with that being the case,
big deal, big problem.
They won't be buying with VA. They'll be buying with the USDA loan or some type of alternate financing if they want to secure it, right? Or let's face it, I don't care if it's an FHA loan or a venture or whatever it is. If the seller doesn't agree to pay it, then the buyer's got to pay it, or if they can't pay it, or if they can't roll it into the sale price, they're still toast, right?
Yeah, but the situation where the VA prevents buyers from paying for their agent, I think is just making this even harder for buyers. So house prices are up. The number of houses for sale is way down. The number of people transactioning is down 70% over 4 years, 20% from last year. And the last thing I want to talk about is the thing everybody's been waiting on, the thing that everybody's been touting as right around the corner is rates are finally going to come down. And the Fed came out and said they're going to drop rates 3 times this year. And then they said, but we're not dropping them right now. And then they said, what?
Well, maybe we'll hold off
You're
on
muted
dropping the
again, Tim.
rates.
There you go.
No. Maybe we're holding off on dropping rates until, inflation comes back, which might be a year from now. Yeah. We might not see any cuts this year, Brian. Not so much.
So
that means
how have
are
rates
gonna
been in the past 2 weeks?
We're probably in the mid sevens now. With the way the market is, not so much. So it's definitely going up, which means it's going to be a little tougher out there, right?
It's brutal, Tim. It's brutal.
It's
It's
back to the struggle bus. Yes, sir. It definitely is.
back on the
So
struggle bus.
how do we overcome that? Honestly, it comes down to knowledge, guidance, and skill, right? That's all it comes down to. Showing the client how you can still get into a home, show them how they can budget for what they want to do, and looking at the long-term result and say, look, you know what? Here's the key. There's still opportunities out there, but it's going to be a little harder. It's going to be a little bit more for a tougher ride. You got to be able to have a tough hide is what it comes down to make it happen, right? But it can still be done. On the positive.
You got to buy a smaller house, or you got to buy a house with, you got to buy a house with
you're going to say wheels, right?
With some string. Well, I was going to say, my daughter finally went under contract and the house they bought has an accessory apartment. He just met with somebody over the weekend.
Wow.
One day after they buy it, they have it rented for $1,000 a month.
Smart move, man. Smart cat. Yeah.
What's the way to? It's not the only way. It's the only way he would have spent as much as he did to buy that house, and it's the only way to make the argument for a first-time home buyer jumping in this market without having a super high income. I mean, they're well qualified, but it's just very tough out there. So I'm talking to a lot of different people and I'm saying, look for something that has an Airbnb potential. Look for something that has a basement that can be rented, an apartment that can be rented. There's a lot of different places that you can do that. Look for a house that needs some TLC because it is brutal out there. And I love to get on here and give everybody good news, but it doesn't feel like we are going to be feeling any good news anytime soon, Tim.
Well, I think what we will see is people will be more creative. I mean, it's like house hacking, we might run a bedroom or two out. I mean, it's all going to work out in the end. Here's the key. The less people in the marketplace, the less competition, the more opportunity to buy, right? And the market is going to turn around at some point. There's a future out there. It's like the oasis in the desert. You just got to, keep moving forward one step at a time. It's all you can do.
Let's say that the future isn't as bright. Let's say, for instance, that the economy is actually in trouble and that the dollar is in trouble and people are very nervous about the future of the economy. The jobs reports, some of those numbers are skewed. They're showing just W-2 employees. They're not showing people like myself who are 1099. The number of people that are getting second jobs that are W-2. W-2 guys like working 40 hours a week plus getting in his car, driving back and forth to work. The number of those people that are getting second jobs is up 20%. The people that are self-employed that are getting second jobs, there's no number, but I'm sure it's very high.
Well, and I also think they're trying to work overtime,
people are
which is being cut back too, right?
To do what they got to do.
Yeah, people have to hustle.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it, man. And that's all we're doing.
People are going to have to hustle. People are going to have to stretch. People are going to have to, not be able to take advantage of the fruits of this land as much as their parents have. That's just the reality. Things might turn around. Things might be different. I was going to say there's other areas which are getting better, but groceries are not. Gasoline is not and
gas?
houses are not. So it's a struggle, bro.
It is, but at the end of the day,
Yeah,
like I said, it's going to continue going forward, man. You can't give up, you can't stop, right?
No, we're still out there, Tim, and we're still helping buyers and sellers every day. And, you know, I think that the best thing that you can do in this market, if you are buying or selling, is make sure that you're teamed up with somebody who can help you win when there's, 7 offers on the table, because it's very frustrating to be out there right now. And if you're selling your house and you want to get top dollar, you gotta still work with an agent. Your house will probably sell, but you need to work with a professional. And the other thing is, we had a VA buyer last week who, like most people, just weren't really tuned into what the cost of buying a house is. People that a lot of times are buying the first house, or before they kind of forgot how it went, don't realize there's 3.5% closing cost. Tim was able to come up with this program that covered, what was it, $20,000, Tim? It was some crazy number.
It was
It
20,000.
was all the closing costs for this VA buyer, all of them.
It was a win-win.
And you got to really be able to take advantage of stuff like that. And that's kind of like the last thing is, like, you really need to be able to kind of find the team of people that are going to be able to help you navigate this, because it is not like it used to be. So anything else you want to add, Tim? Any other other wisdom you'd like to share with the
all I gotta tell people is just change your perspectives, right? Just put your shades on and just realize it's all a different world, man. We're gonna get through this, all right? One day at a time.
You got it, man. Yeah, put your sunglasses on. Don't stare at it very hard. Just glance at it, and then just move on and get back to work. That's about what everybody's got to do.
So this is kind of like the eclipse, Brian.
All right, Tim.
All right, brother.
Yeah, you can't stare at the eclipse with these sunglasses, apparently. All right, man.
Too long. Talk to you later. Bye.